Virginia Governor Terry McAuliffe penned his executive order today that restores the voting rights to more than 200,000 convicted felons in his state. Now, this overturns a Civil War-era provision in the state's constitution that he said disenfranchises African Americans. Now, Virginia is, of course, the battleground swing state in the upcoming presidential elections. Just a little bit about Terry McAuliffe. He was the co-chair of Bill Clinton's 1996 re-election campaign. He is said to have raised over $275 million for Clinton's causes. He actually guaranteed the mortgage on the Clinton New York home, very embedded in the Clinton camp. And we all know that Virginia is a swing state. We have a potentially very close election coming up. And what do you make of this? Why now?
Well, yes, surely there might be a political motive there in adding to the Democratic rolls. But at the same time, it's not a bad thing to enfranchise people to vote. This is undoing something that's been in place since the Civil War era, and quite frankly, at that time it was politically motivated as well, to put that into place.
Right. I mean, there's no question that regardless of the motive, if the result's the same, he is, righting a wrong of history where people have been disenfranchised. We're talking about over 8 million people in this country that have lost their rights to vote, and only 2 states right now have no voter restrictions on felons. They're Maine and Vermont. Everybody else, they're automatically taken out of the game, if you will. They lose that right to vote in any election, and it is overwhelmingly disproportionate to African American people.
No doubt, and this speaks to the problem with mass incarceration. There is an underlying motive in that as well, which does disenfranchise somebody, a felon, from being able to vote in the future. And if that happens to a disproportionate number of African Americans, that happens to be an advantage to Republicans, generally speaking. And so whether it's spoken or not, it definitely works that way. And so, yeah, I don't see it as a bad thing. And sure, it may be politically motivated to coincide with the general election.
To get Hillary Clinton more votes, but neither here nor there. This is what Governor McAuliffe had to say about his executive order that he signed this morning. He says there's no question that we've had horrible history in voting rights as it relates to African Americans. We should remedy that. And he goes on to say, he talks about the issues that, how disproportionately disenfranchised this one voting bloc is, and he's trying to remedy that. Now, in Kentucky, on the other hand, we have governors like Matt Bevin, who is a newly appointed Republican governor who actually overturned an order similar to this that was enacted by the Democratic predecessor. So,
exactly. You won't see a Republican governor enacting any sort of similar change.
Right. The Republican Party, they're already saying that this is political opportunism at its finest, that he's anticipating the November elections. He understands the battleground. Virginia, it's very divided. The northern part of the state is very blue, while the southern and middle part of the state, namely Richmond, very, very red. So very divisive state. And to carry that state for Clinton, presumably he's pro-Clinton since he's been, so embedded.
Absolutely, he is, yes.
That he's trying to swing that in her favor. Regardless, he's putting 200,000 people back into the voting pool, and he's doing this in a way that he's noticing how disenfranchised they are. He's saying that he's going to remedy that. Most people would wait until their last day of office to do something like this. He's in midterm. He was elected in 2014. He has several months away before he's even, up for re-election, and the backlash that he could take for this could be severe, but it looks like it's been enacted, and it's not going to be overturned, even if there is a new governor in place. And 200,000 people now will be able to vote in the state of Virginia.